In the world of professional wrestling, few men have undergone as many transformations as Nelson Frazier Jr., the towering behemoth best known as Viscera. From his early days as Mabel, one half of the fun-loving tag team Men on a Mission, to his reign of terror as King Mabel, his ominous presence in the Ministry of Darkness, and finally, his evolution into the seductive, world's largest love machine and the brutal enforcer, Big Daddy V. Frazier left an indelible mark on WWE history. At 6'9" and weighing over 500 pounds for most of his career, Frazier was a spectacle, equal parts intimidating, charismatic, and surprisingly agile for his size. But for all his transformations, he was also known for a few unfortunate incidents in the ring that saw fellow wrestlers get hurt. Though not a malicious worker, his sheer size and power sometimes led to dangerous moments. Despite these incidents, he remained a beloved figure in the wrestling community. Frazier's career spanned decades, and his legacy is one of resilience and reinvention. But it was also marked by personal struggles, injuries, and an untimely passing that left the wrestling world mourning a gentle giant. Let's take a deep dive into the life and career of Viscera, a man who dominated rings across multiple eras and left a lasting impact on sports entertainment. Nelson Frazier Jr. was born on February 14, 1971 in Memphis, Tennessee, a city rich in wrestling history. It wasn't long before he found himself drawn to the squared circle, breaking into the business in the early 1990s. His sheer size made him an immediate standout, and before long, he was signed by the World Wrestling Federation in 1993. Frazier debuted as Mabel, one half of Men on a Mission, alongside his tag partner Mo and their manager Oscar. MOM was a colorful, rapping duo that fit perfectly into the over-the-top world of early 90s WWF. With their purple and gold outfits and crowd-pleasing antics, they were a favorite among younger fans. The trio would hype up the crowd with pre-match raps, led by Oscar, while Mo and Mabel bounced around the ring, throwing up peace signs and flashing broad smiles. Mabel, despite his enormous size, stood out for more than just his imposing stature. Unlike many big men in wrestling, he displayed surprising agility, often delivering spinning heel kicks, running splashes, and even an occasional top rope maneuver. Fans took notice, and while Mo handled much of the technical wrestling, Mabel was undoubtedly the powerhouse of the team. Men on a Mission quickly rose through the ranks, feuding with teams like the Quebecers, the Head Shrinkers, and Well Done. Their biggest moment came in March 1994, when they defeated the Quebecers to win the World Wrestling Federation Tag Team Championships at a house show in London, England. However, their reign was incredibly short-lived. The titles were returned to the Quebecers just 2 days later due to a controversial finish. Despite the brief reign, MOM remained in the title picture for much of 1994 and early 1995. They participated in the high-profile matches, including a bout at WrestleMania 10, and continued to gain traction with fans. Their positive, upbeat energy made them a fan favorite, but by mid-1995, the WWF decided to shake things up. Mabel's impressive size and presence had caught the attention of higher-ups, and it was clear he was destined for a singles push. This led to a slow-burning heel turn, with Mabel beginning to wrestle more aggressively, often overpowering opponents in dominant fashion. By the time Men on a Mission fully turned heel in mid-1995, it was clear that Mabel was positioned as the true breakout star. Mo transitioned into more of a managerial role, and the fun-loving rapping team was no more. The transformation was complete when Mabel won the 1995 King of the Ring tournament, signaling the beginning of his brief main event push. While the tag team's run was relatively short-lived, it served as a launching pad for Mabel's career and left a lasting impact as one of the most memorable gimmicks of the New Generation era. In 1995, Mabel broke away from Men on a Mission and underwent his first major transformation. With a new, meaner attitude, he won the 1995 King of the Ring tournament, defeating Savio Vega in the finals. This victory propelled him into the main event scene, earning him a WWF Championship match against Diesel at SummerSlam that year. However, Mabel's time at the top was marred by controversy. His size and power, while impressive, also made him a risky opponent in the ring. During his brief main event push, he was involved in two notable injuries. The first was Undertaker's orbital bone injury. During a match in late 1995, Mabel delivered a botched leg drop to the Undertaker's face, breaking his orbital bone. The injury forced Undertaker to wear a protective mask for months and added to Mabel's growing reputation as a dangerous worker. Then it was Diesel's back injury. During his match with Diesel at SummerSlam, Mabel landed on Nash awkwardly, aggravating his already troublesome back problems. Nash, one of the top stars in the company, was not pleased, and backstage sentiment toward Mabel soured. And as a result of these incidents, and the lukewarm reception to his main event push, Mabel quickly fell down the card. By early 1996, he was phased out of WWF programming. and left the company. After a brief stint on the independent scene, Frazier returned to the World Wrestling Federation in 1999 under a much darker persona, Viscera. Now aligned with The Undertaker's sinister Ministry of Darkness, Viscera was a monstrous enforcer dressed in all black leather and sporting creepy, milky white contact lenses. This was due to the recommendation of The Undertaker, because the way he saw it, it was better to have him on his side rather than against him following the orbital bone fracture he suffered as a result of wrestling him. As part of the ministry, Viscera participated in numerous beatdowns and high-profile storylines. While he never ascended to the main event scene again, his presence added an extra layer of intimidation to the faction. He competed in hardcore matches, engaged in feuds with mid-carders, and occasionally showed flashes of surprising agility for a man his size. Frazier's return to WWE in 2004 marked yet another reinvention of his character. Initially brought back as Viscera, he was soon repackaged into the world's largest love machine, a comedic yet imposing figure. Clad in silk pajamas, Viscera took on a new persona that saw him flirt shamelessly with female WWE personalities, dance in the ring, and attempt to seduce announcer Lillian Garcia in a humorous, over-the-top fashion. Despite the comedic nature of the gimmick, Viscera remained a dominant force in the ring. He feuded with top stars like Batista, Kane, and The Big Show, proving that he could blend humor with his natural intimidating presence. Fans warmed up to the character, enjoying the mix of comedy and brute strength. But in 2007, the company once again shifted gears, rebranding him as Big Daddy V. Shedding the playful nature of his previous gimmick, he adopted a monstrous, shirtless look, exposing his massive physique to emphasize his brute strength. His move to ECW saw him positioned as an unstoppable force, challenging CM Punk for the ECW Championship, and feuding with major stars. While his run as Big Daddy V was short-lived, it cemented his legacy as one of WWE's most unique big men, proving his versatility across eras. Nelson Frazier Jr. spent the final years of his career making appearances on the independent wrestling scene. While his days in WWE were behind him, he remained a well-respected and recognizable figure in the wrestling world. Fans still remembered his many personas, and he was regularly booked for autograph signings, conventions, and special guest appearances at wrestling events. However, on February 18, 2014, just 4 days after his 43rd birthday, tragedy struck. Nelson Frazier Jr. suffered a fatal heart attack at his home in Memphis, Tennessee. Given his history of carrying excessive weight throughout his career, heart complications were an unfortunate risk. His passing sent shockwaves through the wrestling community, with former colleagues and fans expressing their condolences and sharing memories of the larger-than-life performer. Nelson Frazier Jr. may not have been a multiple-time world champion, but his impact on wrestling cannot be overstated. Throughout his career, he underwent numerous reinventions, showing an ability to adapt that few big men in wrestling history have matched. Whether as Mabel, Viscera, or Big Daddy V, he left a lasting impression on every era he competed in. Despite a reputation for being dangerous in the ring during his early years, he remained a beloved figure among his peers and fans alike. His tenure with WWE was marked by unforgettable moments, some triumphant, some infamous, but always memorable. He was a true spectacle, embodying the larger-than-life nature of professional wrestling. While his life was cut short, his contributions to wrestling endure. From the fun-loving days of Men on a Mission to his eerie time in the Ministry of Darkness, and finally his run as a larger-than-life enforcer in ECW, Nelson Frazier Jr. remains one of the most unforgettable big men in WWE history. His legacy is one of perseverance, transformation, and a deep love for the business that made him a star. He was, in every sense, a giant, not just in size, but in the mark he left on the industry he loved. And that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you had as much fun watching it as I did making it. Please remember that you can hit the subscribe button to be kept up to date with all our latest releases, and hit the thumbs up so the algorithm knows to push the video out to more people just like you. See you on the next video.